Hello everyone, Niev here, and I got a new deck. I got the Illuminated Earth Oracle. Yeah, and this was actually kind of a gift, and this came from Aquamarine 18, Aquamarine 18 here on YouTube. So and that's pretty cool. And I'm just gonna really quickly like flip through the cards here because this is a deck that's been and this is not in order. I've used this quite a bit since I got it in. So, but this deck is very well known in the Tarot Tube community here. So, and it's been out for like, I don't know, I want to say like 5 years, maybe longer, maybe a little less. I'm not sure exactly when this deck came out, but I've had my eye on it for a while, for at least a couple years. Yeah, and then last year I got the Rain Shadow Tarot from the same creator. I think this is Claire Mack. I think, yeah. Yeah, and but this style is something that I'm really drawn to. It's very textured, very earthy. It's kind of collage. It's kind of mixing like stones, the textures of stones with yeah, it's just very earthy, like a lot of stone energy, which which I really gravitate toward, especially when it comes to tarot. Yeah, and there's something I feel about this that feels very deep to me. So yeah, it's definitely something that it's an art style I'm especially drawn to. Yeah. And I'm not exactly sure how I ultimately want to use this deck. I try to use almost all of my decks on, you know, in ways, like what I'm trying to say is I don't always try to pigeonhole my decks. Some of them are pigeonholed. Some of them are for specific purposes only, and there you go. And then, but most of my decks, like I may have a specific purpose or desire on how I want to use it, but it doesn't necessarily stay. Like I also pull it out for nightly readers every now and then, and the same is true for this. I used it as a nightly reader for I think it was last week, or no, the week before that, the week before last, and I loved it and it was great. The keywords are awesome. Stillness. And this is the kind of keywords I actually really like. I like a simple keyword. When there's too much information on a card, it kind of jumbles my brain a little. You know? So I tend to like more simple keywords. And then, of course, I have some decks that don't have any keywords at all. And I also kind of like that because it's more intuitive, I guess. And I like that. Like, I do like to have a guidebook-ish, sometimes, not all the time. I don't always need a guidebook for things. If I have a specific, like, themed deck, it is nice to have a guidebooks to kind of understand where the artist was coming from in their interpretation of said card. So that I kind of like with guidebooks, but, like, when there's too much information about just the meaning, it overwhelms my brain, and I don't like it, honestly. So, yeah. Ooh, this is a cool card. I'm sorry if you're hearing the dog in the background. She was eating her food behind me, and now she's like sneezing and you know, rolling around on the ground. But yeah. So yeah, I did use this in January. With, of course, the Rain Shadow Tarot. I do also have on my list the Faceted Garden, also by this creator. But I think I'm going to push that deck to next year because I got Illuminated Earth. If I was going to buy the decks from the artist, I probably would have gotten both at the same time. But you know, now that I have one of the decks here, I think I'll go ahead and just move Faceted Garden to next year, and hopefully I'll be able to get it. But yeah, that way I can really get to know this deck. Ooh, this is pretty. I like this one. Blocked. Oh, the dog is making all sorts of noise, and she's bringing her toy over here for me to play with. So say hello to the giraffe toy. I'm not going to play with you right now. Oh, yep, it's squeaking. Sorry about that, but I'll just leave that in. It's fine. It's whatever. Ooh, wow, that's cool. But yeah, there's something very deep and almost mysterious about this kind of art style that I really gravitate toward, and I don't know what else to say about it. It's just fascinating, you know what I mean? And that's kind of how I feel when I feel fascinated when I look at these decks, the Illuminated Earth, my Rain Shadow Tarot, and probably Faceted Garden. I feel like I would have a similar sort of feeling there. All right, so I wanted to be just really quick about the walkthrough there, because I feel like this is a deck that has been shown a million times online. So I want to do some pairings with it, and I did pull out some decks. I'm sure there's more decks in my collection that I could pair with this, but I pulled out a few, and we'll see how it goes. All right, so... All right, first off, of course, I'm going to pair it with the Rain Shadow Tarot, because that makes most sense. These decks are designed to go together, and they do. I very much enjoy the way this looks. I gotta lay these sideways here. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Ace of Wands, 10 of Cups. Those are two very positive cards with Path in the middle. Oh, I would definitely read that as just definitely being on the right path there. Yeah, and then, or a path of what you really want, your true inspiration is what's leading to happiness. That might be how I interpret that. Hierophant and 5 of Cups. I almost said 9 of Cups. 5 of Cups with responsibility in the middle. Wow. I mean, not only do these decks look good together because they're intended to look good together, but they read well together. So, like... I am not, you know, I know a lot of people don't like to, like when they do deck pairings, they don't like to necessarily connect the deck with the other decks from that creator, or, you know, the decks that are meant to go together. But I tend to like that for the most part. But I also like to experiment and see with other decks, you know, I definitely do. Ooh, passing down that wisdom from the Queen of Wands to the Six of Pentacles. That's cool. So I do tend to like decks by the same creator to go together, especially if they're meant to, you know, because a lot of times it does have that cohesiveness. Like it really feels like these cards are meant to go together. But I also understand, you know, that breaking up of energies and pairing it with other decks that have a similar coloring or similar vibe, but it still kind of breaks it up a little bit. Yeah, I like that too. But yeah, you know, in general, I do enjoy decks that are meant to go together. So Ace of Cups and 3 of Cups with Upheaval in the middle. So that's interesting. All right, one more. Wheel of Fortune, Hermit, and Transient. All right. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, like, because I'm Transient in the Hermit, the message seems to fit pretty well with this. But we see that circle in each of these cards that is connecting all 3 cards together. We've got the wheel of the Wheel of Fortune with this, it almost looks like a clock, you know? Yeah, so that, these two, I feel like the images connect, and then the words connect. The Transient and the Hermit go together, and then these images go together. And then we do also have a circle here. It's a radiant light coming from the lantern, of course. But yeah, I mean, what else is there to say about this combination? It fits. Okay, so the next one I want to try is the Midnight Magic, a tarot deck of mushrooms. This is a deck that I hardly ever use. But I feel like the coloring and the theme could potentially go together. We got 10 of Wands with Mystery and Queen of Swords. That's pretty cool. Yeah, you know, I feel like these energies could go together. Maybe even the art could go together. And the reason why I hardly ever use this mushroom deck is because I don't... a lot of the cards, I don't quite understand the imagery. So I end up kind of using this deck as as my, using my rote memorization of RWS, you know? And I mean, some of the images I can glean information from. Both of these are pretty good here. Reflection with the Devil and Five of Swords. Ooh. That's, I feel like this sort of reading is a very much of a calling out sort of reading. Yeah. Like indulging in something has really caused a lot of strife, and the Five of Swords is like, I kind of think of it like you won, but at what cost, you know? and then there's this reflection card in the middle, like let's take a look at ourselves here and see, you know, what we've done wrong. But so obviously the message really resonated, made sense, came together there. So. That's cool. I do like all these blues in here. I love the art of the mushroom deck. It's just a lot of the imagery in the cards I just am not connecting to, you know? And I think that's why I've had a hard time really connecting with this deck. But I mean, it is gorgeous. It's very safe in my collection. It's not a deck I want to get rid of, but I still haven't made a bag for it, you know, which says something. This is beautiful, though. I mean, this looks like I haven't moved on from this because I just think these cards together are really, really, really pretty. All right, so let's move to the next one. But as far as how these go together, oops, I put them in the wrong pile. How these go together, I think they do a pretty good job. I wasn't sure. The nice thing about the mushroom tarot here is that it tends to go with a lot of decks. So I was pretty sure this one would pair well. Ooh, look at that. But like, because I have a hard time with the imagery on these on this mushroom deck, I feel like it's the kind of deck that I feel like kind of needs a partner, you know? I don't know if that makes sense, but like because I don't get much from the imagery itself of the mushroom tarot. I kind of need to have like another deck with it to sort of pull out information or pull out images, because the webbing on this mushroom, I really see a lot of that in this. The Tower, Resilience, and the King of Pentacles. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's it. It's kind of like this Tower moment and this resilience moment leading to like, to me, this particular instance of the King of Pentacles feels like a what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. You know, that sort of, which, you know, sometimes that fits a situation, sometimes it doesn't. But this particular reading, I feel like that's what it's kind of saying. So one more here. Oops, again, I'm doing this, putting them in the wrong pile. Ooh, that's interesting. Erosion with the Two of Pentacles and the Empress. Ooh. So, like, if we're trying to balance too much, without that nurturing energy of, like, taking care of what actually, like, kind of prioritizing, you know, if we don't prioritize and we juggle too much, it leads to, like, an erosion. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's kind of I know I said that was the last one, but I'm pulling one more. So it does show that I do like these cards together. Visually, I do. And the keywords have, I think the keywords are just really good in this deck, you know? All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, next up is the Pacific Northwest Tarot. This is the bag I made for it, of course. Yeah, the art style in this is very different. We don't have that sort of earthy, really earthy vibes. I mean, the Pacific Northwest Tarot is very much about the earth, about the animals of the Pacific Northwest, obviously, the landscapes. So there's a nature element to it, but the style is very, very different. But I thought maybe because they're both naturey, we could give it a shot. And so far, I like this combination here. I mean, the colors are very different, but we get a lot of that, the burnt orange here with the burnt orange here. We got the Hermit and the Queen of Wands, both very independent kind of cards with fire in the middle. Like, I would potentially read this as you know, what needs to happen right now needs to be happened on one's own. And yeah, and because these two cards feel very independent to me, and it's following a spark of inspiration, not information, inspiration, and that there's a lot of fire that's going to be happening through this independent work. Yeah, so I mean that's pretty cool. Let's see. All right, strength and the five. So the 5 of Pentacles and strength with healing in the middle. Okay, I like the message, but I don't really like the imagery here. I kind of like the imagery on the last one. That one worked. Okay, reincarnation with 8 of Cups. That's, I mean, that is literally shedding a skin here. And the Knight of Wands. Kind of, like these 2 cards absolutely go together. And I do see the meaning, the connection here with the Knight of Wands, but it's just a, Again, I'm not quite sure how I feel about the imagery together, like the art styles. The King of Cups and the 5 of Cups with balance in the middle. All right. Yeah. Okay. And one more. All right, so we got a Hermit Crab here with the 6 of Swords. Again, another sort of moving on sort of energy. And the 4 of Swords, a rest from something. And then we got relationship in the middle. I feel like this is kind of a breaking off something harmful, even though it's going to hurt. All right, one more. I know I keep saying one more and then not. So Earth with Page of Swords and 8 of Swords. I don't know how I feel about this one. But all right, you know, it's not quite as good as the last 2, but it's not bad. Okay, so with this one, I'm going to combine 2 different decks with this so that we can... and I think these decks go together, the 2 of them. So this is my Lord of the Rings tarot. This is the bag, obviously, that I made for it. And I also grabbed the Memento Mori Oracle. And the Memento Mori and the Lord of the Rings do go together pretty well with each other. So I thought I'd combine them here and see how it looks with the oh my gosh with the illuminated earth in the middle. And I thought this might be interesting too because both of these decks are fairly simple. I mean, we move on to the next cards here. Oh, I got 3 piles. I'm gonna have to do it on top here. So we got, let's see. I mean, because some of these cards are more detailed, but it's still not as busy as this. Like, this is more colorful, whereas these 2 decks are more muted or minimalist for the most part. I mean, this is obviously a pip deck. So we have the Page of Rings, and that's Pentacles, with Morning Brooch. Interesting. Mourning brooch, not mourning as in morning time, but mourning as in grief, kind of like the last card here was grief, so kind of like that, but different here. So a mourning brooch with stillness in the middle and the Page of Rings. Like trying to start new things, trying to move forward when we're still in a moment of we're stillness in this moment of pain of some sort. There's still some grief or sadness going on, and I know I'm using the word from the previous card, but stillness makes sense here as well. But yeah, so that's interesting. Okay, and I'm just trying to see how this looks with this deck here. So we've got the 9 of Swords and Charm with fertility in the middle. This is interesting. I don't know how I would interpret this. So and then I can also try to think about how, like, ignore this one, see how I like it with this, which I do like it. Yeah, I do like that. And then closing this off and seeing how it looks with this, an oracle with an oracle, which is something I do sometimes. Fertility and urn. I mean, that's fucking sad. Let's pick a different card. Blocked and urn. You know, and then blocked and 2 of Wands. Oh, okay. Like an inability to sort of move forward, or it plans being blocked and stopped right away. There we go. I mean, that works. Yeah, I mean, in general, I like this. Let's see. We've got the 8 of Cups, painting, and anguish. And then, like, we've got the faces here repeated. Okay. All right. One more. All right. So, Tempest, 6 of Rings with the sign. Interesting. All right. I'm going to move on to the next thing. Okay, so I saved this for last because I feel like I'm going to do the most with this. Now, all right, I'll just say what it is. It is the Green Glyphs collection. I have the whole box out here with all 4 decks. Yeah. So here's the thing. I keep trying to pair the Green Glyphs with new decks that I get, you know, and it's been an extremely difficult. Those decks are extremely difficult to pair with anything other than decks from James R. Eads, you know. And I think it's the coloring of the cards. They're just difficult to pair with other visually to pair with other decks. That said, they pair very well with the Rain Shadow Tarot, which, you know, I discovered when I did my walkthrough of this deck and the pairing, and I was like, you know what? I think I have a deck here that finally matches with the Green Glyphs decks. So I brought out all of the Green Glyphs here. I'm going to pull out each one separately here, but because I thought maybe I could try some sort of pairing or something with these decks. So I'm gonna pull out some cards and lay out something and see what I like about it. Okay. Okay. So I have one card from Illuminated Earth right here in the middle, Dreams. Now I'm gonna pull an Oracle from the James R. Eads, and maybe we got broken glass, which, you know, obviously that could be a broken dream. All right, you know, I mean, already that works here. We get some sort of a broken dream, so a broken promise of some sort. So let's see, what else? We've got the Lenormand. I could quickly pull out a 3-card reading on this. So how would I do this? Maybe this can lay over top like that. I mean, we kind of lose the artwork with that though. So, all right, I'm going to try something. All right, we'll do broken glass right here. So it's a broken dream. All right. And then, all right, let's do tarot. We'll do 2 cards for tarot. And this is, I think these are going to be foundation cards, and I don't know if I have positions for these. I think I'm just going to lay down 2 cards and see how I feel about it. So let's lay down this. We got the King of Cups. Ooh, I'm going to have to pull back the camera a bit. Hold on. King of Cups with the Knight of Cups. Okay. So, you know, I can have, I think, okay, so the Knight of Cups is kind of a card, you know, it has kind of rose-colored glasses on, you know, and it's got a very romanticized view of things. And so, and then the King of Cups is a more, it's compassionate and kind, but it's taking a more practical approach in that it's been able to balance their emotions. So balancing that sort of rose-colored glasses, balancing that energy. And I think the cups suit are all elephants, pretty sure. But, all right, so we've got that sort of energy there. And then I kind of want to try the Lenormand here at the top. And this, I think, is the practical advice. You know, we've got this broken dream. trying to approach it in a very measured way, but also feeling that sort of you know, kind of shattered that broken glass here, you know, because we had this sort of starry-eyed view of how this was going to turn out. And we're trying to keep a level head on it, but those are the feelings. And that's kind of how I'm reading the tarot here, is like the feelings on the matter. So the practical advice. All right, so let's see. I am going to have to pull this camera out. I have the sun, the child, and the whip. Oh, gosh. Okay, I am going to pull this camera up. All right, hopefully you guys can see everything here. Kind of seeing the other decks here on the floor, but that's okay. Trying to come at this very measured approach, but, you know, still feeling that shattered glass here of our dreams being shattered. And then we're kind of seeing that again here. The sun is like the happiest card in Lenormand. And I feel like that's really connecting here with the Knight of Cups. And the child is a newness, also a childlike wonder. Again, that sort of deal. And with the whip is often seen as kind of a negative card, and that's why the coloring here is the burnt orange. The James R. Eads Green Glyphs, Lenormand takes a color-coded approach to the cards. The negative cards are in this kind of burnt orange color. Yeah, but one of the things the whip represents is a sort of having to keep at it, keep going, you know, and which could be a positive. But I think that's kind of how I'm approaching this. Is like the advice here to me. It's saying that even though, you know, this is something that has kind of broken a bit, it's something that, like, the enthusiasm is still there. The romanticized view of it is still there. And the whip is, like, you know, closing it off, saying, like, look, don't give up on this. Like, just keep going. You know, keep going. And because that is the whip, or the broom is a repeated action. And yeah. I mean, if this was part of a grand tableau, I would see like, what is the whip knighted with, and other things like that, to sort of get a more complete picture, because it's just a simple 3-card Lenormand thing there. But I still think it works. So finally, I kind of want to close it off with one of the rune cards. So let's see. So finally, closing this off, this reading with a rune card, and this is something I would have to use the book for, because I don't really know runes very well. Sorry about my throat there. All right. All right. So we have Gar. Okay. So I'm actually going to pull out the book for that and see what that sort of means. So Gar. Oh, it's the last card. Okay, so it is, or Gar. Yes, Gar. So the center point, the mystery in all things, a riddle, outside of understanding, crossroads, conjoining paths. So that's interesting. And so, I mean, I feel like it's also saying, like, this is going to start a new sort of, you know, you don't quite know where this is going to go. I think in general, I feel like this reading is saying, yes, this dream didn't work out. But it is something that we can keep going forward with, and maybe you won't know where it goes, but it's at least going to go somewhere, and new opportunities may happen because of that. So keep going at it, even though there's this underlying feeling of brokenness. And just going on, you know, you're at a crossroads kind of moment. And I mean, we see that with this. You could go that way and give up completely, or you can go this way and open up new opportunities. So I think that's kind of how I'm reading this. So I kind of like this. I think it turned out pretty good. One thing I could also try to do, because I don't need to use all 4 of the Green Glyphs decks, I could just use, like, 2 tarot cards from here. I can put this over here. Just trying to figure something out, and then I could pull, like, another, like, card or 2 from oh, this is This is Illuminated Earth. I thought this was the Rain Shadow. I can pull 2 cards or something from the Rain Shadow and get this sort of energy. Let's see. I'm just pulling 2 random cards here. Actually, let's do it like this. This isn't an actual reading. I'm just kind of laying out a different sort of different reading here. Whoa, hello. Okay, put that there. Ooh. Okay, so this I really, really like. So we've got, and then, let's see. I don't think I would want to use Lenormand for this, because with Lenormand, I very much have a very, I guess, sort of strict way of doing it. We can pull 2 rune cards over here, and then 1 more oracle. Let's see, 1 more oracle here. 1 more. Okay, that's a pretty cool layout. I mean, I'm not going to read this, but what do you guys think? I think that's a pretty cool layout. I don't know what this, but this is something I could work with. All right, anyway. All right, so that is the Illuminated Earth Oracle. Really excited to have this deck. Thank you so much, Aquamarine, for sending this to me, and I'm super thrilled with it. I have so many ideas. I'm so glad to have more decks that match or go with the green glyphs. Yeah, all right. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I will see you next time. Bye!